A single heartbeat. A flash of light cutting through the mist of an early morning stadium. The air trembles with anticipation. A man crouches at the starting blocks. Eyes fixed ahead, body trembling with power, lungs holding the world in one suspended breath. The crowd fades into silence. The pistol cracks. And in that instant, he flies. That man is Eugen Ray. A name that once electrified the tracks of Europe. A name that meant speed, grit, and the kind of determination that burns even when the world stops watching. Imagine the scene. The hum of tension before the start, the rough scent of rubber from the track, the faint metallic taste of adrenaline on his tongue. His heart pounds in rhythm with the crowd's roar. Every step is thunder. Every breath, lightning. He isn't running on the track. He's running through it, as if trying to break the sound barrier with his will alone. For a fleeting moment, time bends. The finish line isn't an end. It's a promise. This story isn't just about medals or records. It's about the relentless chase, the hunger to be faster than yesterday, to outpace your limits, to become something greater than anyone imagined. It's about the journey of a boy from a quiet East German town who ran his way into history, and whose legacy still whispers every time a sprinter crouches in the blocks, waiting for the gun to fire. Tonight, we tell the story of Eugen Ray, a man who sprinted not just against others, but against time itself. He was born in Gerbstedt, a small mining town tucked away in East Germany. The air there smelled of earth and smoke, and the days passed slow and quiet. His father worked long hours underground. His mother kept the house warm and full of laughter. Eugen was a restless boy, always moving, always chasing something unseen. The neighbors would watch him dart through the fields, legs pumping, hair flying, eyes alive with fire. They'd shake their heads and smile. That boy was born to run, they'd say. And they were right. Running wasn't a sport to him back then. It was freedom. On dusty village roads, in the narrow alleyways between gray brick homes, he ran simply because it made him feel alive. When his feet struck the ground, he felt weightless, unstoppable. At school, his teachers noticed his energy. He couldn't sit still. During recess, when others rested, he raced. And when he ran, no one could catch him. The local athletics coach saw potential and approached him after a school meet. "You have something rare," the coach told him. "But speed alone won't make you a champion. You'll need discipline and heart." Those words became his compass. By his teenage years, Eugen had joined a sports club in Halle, training among the best young athletes in the region. The mornings started before dawn. The track glistened with dew, his breath forming clouds in the cold air. His spikes dug into the earth, the sound of his heartbeat louder than the coach's whistle. "Again!" the coach barked, and he did, over and over, until his lungs burned and his muscles screamed. He wasn't the tallest sprinter. He wasn't the most elegant. But his strength, the raw power in his stride, was unmatched. His start from the blocks was a cannon firing. His drive phase, a blur of motion. The coaches began calling him the powerhouse. His training routine was relentless. Explosive sprints, weightlifting for strength, long hours working on reaction time. He studied every element of the race, the angle of his arms, the rhythm of his breathing, the moment to lean at the finish. Every detail mattered. When he ran his first 100-meter race under 10.5 seconds, people took notice. By his early 20s, Eugen was among East Germany's fastest men. His presence on the track was magnetic. Broad shoulders, determined eyes, a focused calm before the gun. And when that gun fired, he was unstoppable. The year 1977 became his turning point. The world began to whisper his name. At international meets, he exploded onto the scene, leaving seasoned competitors stunned. Cameras flashed as he tore down the straight, his stride powerful, rhythm flawless. That year, he clocked times that ranked among the fastest in Europe. When he crossed the line, hands raised, the roar of the crowd seemed to lift him off the ground. The young man from Gerbstedt had arrived, but beneath the cheers, Eugen stayed grounded. He returned home between competitions, walking the same quiet streets of his childhood. He'd visit his parents, sit in the garden, and watch the wind move through the fields. Fame hadn't changed him. It had only sharpened his purpose. In 1978, he lined up at the European Championships in Prague. The stadium was electric, flags waving, tension thick in the air. He crouched in lane 5, eyes locked forward. The starter raised the gun. Bang! Eugen shot out like lightning. For the next 10 seconds, nothing existed but motion. The blur of track beneath his feet, the roar of thousands urging him forward. He crossed the finish line in second place. Silver. For some, that would have been disappointment. For Eugen, it was validation. He had proven he could stand among the world's best. But even in triumph, he knew the fight never ended. Every race was a test of will, and the competition was merciless. The Cold War era made sport more than sport. It was politics, pride, and pressure. Every training session was a battle between exhaustion and ambition. There were days when his body rebelled, strained muscles, nagging injuries. But he pushed through. He refused to surrender to weakness. "Pain is temporary," he once told a teammate. But the memory of giving up lasts forever. His greatest dream was the Olympics. In 1980, he finally stood beneath the 5 rings in Moscow, the flag of his country fluttering high. The atmosphere was electric. In the semifinals of the 100 meters, he ran with all he had. The margins were razor thin. Mere hundredths of a second separated finalists from the rest. He missed the final, but his performance was fearless. Later, in the 4x100 relay, he helped his team fight to a 5th-place finish, one of East Germany's best. That night, he sat alone on his bed in the Olympic Village, the noise of the celebration fading outside. He looked at his shoes, still dusted with track grit, and smiled faintly. "I gave them everything," he whispered to himself. "And I'm not done yet." Off the track, Eugen was a gentle soul. He had a calm charm, an easy laugh, and a deep love for music. Sometimes after practice, he'd pick up his guitar and play quietly in his small apartment, letting melodies wash away the tension of the day. Friends said he had 2 sides, the fierce competitor and the thoughtful dreamer. He found balance in both. He married Marlies, a fellow athlete who understood the rhythm of his world. Together, they shared quiet walks after long days, spoke about life beyond sport, about the future they would build when the races were over. For Eugen, success was never just about medals. It was about becoming a better version of himself, about using his gift to inspire others. As the early 1980s passed, new faces appeared on the track, younger sprinters with fresh energy. But Eugen remained respected, a veteran who had seen glory and loss and still carried himself with humility. He began mentoring younger athletes, reminding them that speed means nothing without integrity. "Anyone can run fast," he'd say, "but not everyone can run with purpose." Then, in January 1986, fate struck cruelly. While driving as part of his work as a traffic officer, Eugen's car collided on an icy road. He was just 28 years old. In an instant, one of Germany's brightest stars was gone. The athletics world fell silent. Teammates wept. Coaches who once shouted from the sidelines stood speechless. But legends don't die. They echo. Even now, decades later, when old film reels show him bursting from the blocks, shoulders driving, eyes fierce, motion perfect, it still feels like time itself pauses to watch. He didn't just run races. He lived them. Every step was a declaration that passion, discipline, and courage can make a small-town boy eternal. Eugen Ray's story isn't about tragedy, it's about triumph. It's about chasing a dream so hard that even the wind remembers your name. It's about believing that you can break the limits set before you, and proving it stride by stride. Because in every sprinter's heart, in every dreamer who refuses to quit, the spirit of Eugen Ray still runs. And as you listen now, maybe his story reminds you of something deep inside yourself. That spark that says, "I can go further. I can be faster. I can rise again." So, the next time you stand at the edge of your own challenge, remember Eugen Ray, the boy who ran through fields and found freedom, the man who faced the world with nothing but his will, the athlete who sprinted toward greatness and became immortal. This has been Behind the Medal, where we uncover the human stories hidden beneath the shine of victory. If Eugen Ray's journey inspired you, if it stirred something in your heart, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Because every medal has a story, and every story has the power to move you. Keep running toward your dreams. The finish line is waiting.